Welcome to Chicken Matter Talks. In today's educational documentary, we will explore the origin and history of the Regular Grey Gamefowl Bloodline, one of the most historically recognized gray-feathered strains in poultry heritage. This content is created strictly for educational and historical purposes only. Our goal is to discuss breeding history, genetic background, physical characteristics, and responsible poultry management. We do not promote harmful or unethical activities. When discussing traditional bloodlines like Regular Grey, transparency is important. Over generations, strain names may vary depending on breeder, region, and selective methods. In this video, we will clearly separate documented history from general breeder tradition. Let us begin with the broader background of gray gamefowl. Understanding the gray family of gamefowl. The gray family is one of the oldest and most respected feather pattern groups in poultry history. Gray-feathered birds have been documented in various parts of Europe and later refined in the United States. The term gray usually refers to silver or gray-based plumage, black striping, or penciling patterns, clean and balanced feather contrast. Over time, several gray strains were developed, including Regular Grey, Johnny Jumper Grey, Clear Grey, other breeder-specific gray lines. Among these, Regular Grey became one of the most recognized traditional types. Early origin of Regular Grey. The Regular Grey bloodline traces its roots to early American poultry breeding programs, influenced by imported European stock. Historical records suggest that silver duck-wing patterned birds played a role in foundation stock. Irish and English gray-type fowl contributed genetic influence. Early American breeders refined and stabilized the strain. Through careful selection, breeders aimed to maintain feather pattern consistency, structural balance, strong bone and leg alignment, alert carriage. Unlike experimental crosses, Regular Grey developed as a relatively stable and recognizable line over time. Development through selective breeding. The development of Regular Grey was not accidental. It was the result of long-term selection, removal of inconsistent offspring, emphasis on predictable reproduction, avoidance of unnecessary crossing. Breeders who worked with Regular Grey focused heavily on maintaining true to type feather coloration, symmetrical body structure, balanced proportions. This discipline allowed the Regular Grey to become a foundation bloodline in many breeding programs. Physical characteristics of Regular Grey. While slight variations exist, Regular Grey birds are commonly described as having medium to slightly tall stance, silver gray body feathers with darker striping, clean hackle feathers with defined contrast, well-proportioned head, strong legs with balanced alignment. Their overall appearance reflects symmetry, athletic build, clean feather presentation. It is important to clarify that color alone does not define a true Regular Grey. Structure, type consistency, and breeder documentation also matter. Temperament and general behavior. Regular Grey birds are often described as alert and responsive, active but manageable, observant in new environments. However, temperament is influenced by breeding quality, handling, environmental conditions, nutrition and care. No bloodline guarantees specific behavior. Responsible poultry management plays a significant role in shaping outcomes. Role of regular gray in American breeding history. As regular gray became more established, it was sometimes used as foundation stock in cross programs, a stabilizing line for feather color, a reference standard for gray-type birds. Because of its consistency, regular gray earned respect among breeders who valued predictable results. However, it is important to note that over time, crossbreeding, regional adaptation, commercial distribution have introduced variation in birds labeled as regular gray. Difference between regular gray and other gray strains. Regular gray should not be confused with other gray family strains. For example, some gray lines emphasize slightly different body proportions. Others may show minor feather tone variations. Certain breeder-developed strains may have unique structural traits. Regular gray is typically associated with a more traditional and balanced type. Transparency matters here. Without documented breeding history, two birds labeled regular gray may not be genetically identical. Regional adaptation and spread. As regular gray bloodlines spread across regions, and even internationally, they adapted to different climates, feeding systems, breeding goals. In warmer regions, birds may develop slightly leaner frames. In cooler climates, feather density may differ slightly. These changes are natural results of environmental influence combined with breeder selection. Modern status of regular gray. Today, maintaining a pure regular gray bloodline can be challenging due to decades of crossing, limited documentation, commercial rebranding. However, many breeders continue to preserve gray-type birds with emphasis on accurate feather pattern, balanced structure, ethical breeding practices. Responsible breeders prioritize transparency and documentation over exaggerated claims. Importance of documentation in bloodlines. One of the most important lessons from regular gray history is the value of accurate record keeping, honest strain labeling, avoiding misrepresentation. Bloodline names carry historical weight. Using them responsibly ensures that poultry heritage remains credible and respected. Responsible and ethical poultry management. This documentary is educational in nature and does not promote harmful activities. Responsible poultry management includes proper housing and ventilation, clean water, and balanced nutrition, humane treatment, disease prevention, sustainable breeding practices. Bloodline preservation should always align with animal welfare standards. Common misconceptions about regular gray. Misconception. 1. All gray-feathered birds are regular gray. Not all gray birds belong to this bloodline. Misconception. 2. Color alone defines purity. Feather color is only one part of strain identity. Misconception 3. Older bloodlines never change. All bloodlines evolve over time due to environment and selection. Why regular gray remains important. Regular gray remains relevant because it represents traditional breeding discipline, feather pattern stability, structural balance, poultry heritage preservation. It serves as a reminder that successful bloodlines are built over generations, not created instantly. Educational value for modern poultry enthusiasts. For modern breeders and enthusiasts, studying regular gray history teaches the importance of long-term planning, respect for documented strain history, the need for transparency, the value of ethical management. Understanding heritage lines strengthens responsible poultry culture worldwide. Conclusion. The Regular Grey Gamefowl Bloodline is a historically respected strain shaped by careful selection and disciplined breeding. From early European-influenced stock to American refinement, Regular Grey represents consistency, balance, and feather pattern heritage. This documentary aimed to provide a clear, transparent, and educational overview of its origin and development. By preserving accurate information and promoting ethical breeding discussions, we help protect poultry heritage for future generations. Thank you for watching Chicken Matter Talks. If you enjoy educational poultry history content, like this video. Subscribe for more Bloodline documentaries. Comment which strain you would like to explore next. Together, let us promote transparency, responsible breeding, and heritage preservation.